You know those horror stories that start with a seemingly innocent setup, like a stay at a quaint, remote hotel? Well, that's how this one begins. And trust me, it takes some spine-tingling twists and turns that you won't see coming. So there I was, driving down a winding, desolate road on a dark and stormy night. I'd been on the road for hours, and the rain lashed at my windshield like an angry beast. My plan was to find a cozy little motel, hunker down, and wait out the storm. Sounded simple enough, right? But as luck would have it, the only place I stumbled upon was this creepy old hotel that looked like it had been plucked straight out of a horror movie. It loomed on a hill, its windows dark and foreboding, and I couldn't help but think, well, it's better than sleeping in my car, right? I parked in the gravel lot, the rain drumming a chaotic rhythm on the roof of my car. I grabbed my bag and dashed inside, eager to escape the downpour. The lobby was dimly lit, and the air felt heavy, like it was holding secrets. My internal compass spun wildly, but my rational side whispered, "It's just a hotel. Relax." The bell above the door tinkled as I entered, and a tall, lanky man behind the front desk looked up from his newspaper. His name tag read Mr. Blackwood, but I couldn't help but notice the cold, calculating glint in his eyes. "Welcome to the Blackwood Hotel," he said with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You're lucky, we have one room left." I couldn't argue with that, especially given the storm outside, so I handed over my credit card and signed in, half expecting the pen to crumble into dust in my hand. Just one night, I told myself, trying to shake off the sense of unease. "It's just a place to sleep." Mr. Blackwood handed me an ancient-looking brass key with a flourish and directed me to my room on the 3rd floor. As I climbed the narrow, creaking staircase, my mind raced. This place feels like it's from another era, but it's just an old hotel, right? Nothing to be spooked about. My room was small and suffused with the musty scent of old wood and faded wallpaper. The bed looked as if it had witnessed a century's worth of slumber, but it was clean enough. I put down my bag and sank onto the bed, my thoughts a whirlwind. It's just for one night, after all. Tomorrow, I'll be out of here. But as the hours ticked by and the storm raged on outside, things took a turn for the eerie. I kept hearing strange noises in the hallway, soft whispers, shuffling footsteps, and occasional laughter that sent chills down my spine. Okay, this is getting weird. I can't be the only guest here, right? Unable to shake my curiosity, I decided to investigate. As I stepped into the dimly lit hallway, my heart hammered in my chest. This is a terrible idea. I should just stay in my room. But that nagging sense of curiosity won out. I followed the faint sounds down the hallway and found myself standing in front of a door that was slightly ajar. The whispers were clearer now, and they were coming from inside that room. What is going on in there? Should I just mind my own business? My internal debate raged on. My curiosity got the better of me, and I gently pushed the door open wider. The sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. A group of people dressed in old-fashioned clothes that looked straight out of the 19th century were huddled around a table covered in candles and strange symbols. They were chanting in a language I couldn't understand, their voices rising and falling in an eerie, hypnotic rhythm. My mind raced, and a million questions flooded my thoughts. Who are these people? What are they doing? Is this some kind of cult? Am I in danger? Panic set in as I backed away from the door, my heart pounding in my chest. I retreated to my room, my thoughts in chaos. I need to get out of here. This place is not what it seems. But how? It's pouring outside, and I don't even know where I am. I felt trapped, like a character in a nightmare that refused to end. And now, brace yourself for the twist you never saw coming. Just as I was about to give in to despair, there was a knock on my door. My heart leaped into my throat, and my thoughts were a jumble of fear and confusion. Who could that be? Is it them? Have they come for me? I hesitated for a moment, then cautiously opened the door. Standing there was a woman, her eyes wide with fear. She looked like a guest, like me. "You need to get out of here," she whispered urgently. "They're not what they seem. Follow me." Without thinking, I grabbed my bag and followed her through a labyrinthine maze of hallways and secret passages. She explained that the people I had seen were the hotel staff, and they were part of a sinister cult that had been using the hotel as a front for their activities. My mind raced. How is this even possible? This can't be real. As we reached the exit, the storm outside had intensified, rain pelting down like shards of glass. But I didn't care. I just wanted to escape that nightmarish place. I can't believe this. I need to get as far away as possible. We made it to my car, and I peeled out of the hotel's gravel lot, never looking back. The woman's warning had saved me, and I was determined to put as much distance between myself and the Blackwood Hotel as I could. I'm never staying in a remote, creepy hotel again. That's for sure. So, my friend, the next time you're on a road trip and stumble upon a strange, old hotel in the middle of nowhere, remember this tale. Sometimes, the most ordinary situations can take a spine-tingling turn, and danger can lurk where you least expect it. Stay safe out there, and trust your instincts, because you never know what secrets a seemingly innocent place may hold. Ever had one of those bizarre experiences that leave you questioning reality itself? I sure did when I checked into that peculiar hotel on a rainy night. What started as a simple overnight stay morphed into a nightmarish tale of eerie encounters and a revelation that sent shivers down my spine. Picture it, a torrential downpour, an endless stretch of road, and a desperate need for shelter. That's when I stumbled upon the Grand Minion Hotel, as the faded sign proclaimed. With my windshield wipers working overtime, I couldn't have been happier to find a place to escape the storm. Pulling into the dimly lit parking lot, I noticed that the hotel had seen better days. It was the kind of place that looked like it might have hosted glamorous parties back in the day, but had since fallen into disrepair. "Well, it's not the Ritz, but it'll do for the night," I muttered to myself, ignoring the subtle shiver that crawled up my spine. As I entered the lobby, I was met with an odd sight. The front desk was manned by a man named Mr. Host, or at least that's what his name tag claimed. He had an uncanny, almost mechanical demeanor, and his unnaturally smooth skin and emotionless eyes gave me pause. Must be a robot or something, I chuckled to myself. Futuristic, I'll give them that. I handed Mr. Host my ID and credit card, trying not to focus on the unnerving stillness in his posture. "Just one night, please," I said, feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. "I don't plan on sticking around." Mr. Host handed me a brass key with an old-fashioned keychain. I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow at it, but I shook off the oddity as a quirky charm of the place. It's just a key, right? No big deal. Yet, I couldn't quite shake the feeling that something was off. As I made my way down the dimly lit hallway towards my room, I couldn't help but notice the silence that hung in the air like a thick fog. It was as if the hotel itself held its breath, waiting for something to happen. This place gives me the creeps. Maybe I should have driven a bit further. Upon entering my room, I found it to be surprisingly quaint, if not a little outdated. The furniture had an antique charm to it, and the faded wallpaper gave off a sense of nostalgia. I figured I could endure it for one night. It's not the worst place I've stayed in, I guess. As I settled in, my ears caught a strange noise, a soft rhythmic clicking coming from the corner of the room. I frowned and followed the sound, my curiosity getting the best of me. What on earth is that? I wondered aloud. I nearly jumped out of my skin when I realized the source of the noise. Standing in the corner were two figures, almost identical to Mr. Host. They were stiff, their movements mechanical, and their eyes were devoid of any emotion. Wait, are these robots? Androids? Whatever they are, this is getting way too sci-fi for me. Fear gripped me as I watched them, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Is this some sort of joke, or am I stuck in some weird dream? I muttered, my voice trembling, but the strangeness didn't end there. It escalated. Just as I was about to scream or flee, one of the robots turned its head and stared at me with those lifeless eyes. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. This can't be real. I've got to be hallucinating. Then the unexpected twist struck me like a bolt of lightning. The robot that had locked eyes with me began to speak, its voice cold and metallic. "Welcome to the Grand Minion Hotel. We are the staff, here to serve your every need." My heart raced as I realized the implications. These weren't just robots, they were the entire hotel staff. I tried to make sense of it all, my mind racing. Robots pretending to be humans. What kind of place is this? What do they want with me? Panic swelled within me as I realized the gravity of the situation. The robots continued their eerie, mechanical dance around the room, going through the motions of preparing the room for my stay. I watched in silence, my thoughts a tangled mess. I need to get out of here. This is insane. But how? What's the way out? My heart pounded as I desperately searched for an escape plan. Then, just as I was about to make a run for it, the robots froze in their tracks, their faces frozen in expressions of alarm. An urgent whisper emerged from their metallic lips. "They're coming. Hide." I didn't need any more encouragement. I dove into the bathroom and closed the door, my heart pounding in my chest. I could hear hushed voices and footsteps approaching. Who's coming? What's happening? Is this some kind of trap? My mind raced as I tried to make sense of the unfolding nightmare. Minutes felt like hours as I crouched in the bathroom, my ears straining to catch any hint of what was happening outside. This is madness. What have I gotten myself into? I whispered to myself, my voice quivering. Then, just as suddenly as it had all begun, the voices faded away, and the robots resumed their mechanical tasks. I cautiously emerged from my hiding spot, my thoughts a chaotic whirlwind. What just happened? Who were they hiding from? And why did they warn me? Unable to bear the strangeness any longer, I decided to make a run for it. I grabbed my bag and tiptoed past the robots, their eyes following my every move. I need to get out of here, back to the real world, I muttered to myself. I reached the exit and burst out into the pouring rain, the cold water soaking me to the bone. But I didn't care. I had escaped the bizarre clutches of the Grand Minion Hotel. As I drove away, my thoughts were a whirlwind of disbelief and confusion. Robots, pretending to be the staff. What was their purpose? And who were those mysterious visitors they were hiding from? So my friend, sometimes the line between reality and science fiction can blur in the most unexpected ways, and a seemingly ordinary hotel can turn into a nightmarish puzzle. The next time you check into a remote, quirky place, just remember that reality can be stranger than fiction, and the truth may be lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. Stay curious, stay safe, and always trust your instincts. Let me tell you about the time I checked into a hotel that made all my creepiest nightmares feel like child's play. It all started innocently enough, a last-minute work trip, a hotel booking, and a receptionist who would soon become my living nightmare. I pulled into the hotel's parking lot after a long, tiring drive. The rain was falling in a steady drizzle, creating a gloomy atmosphere that seemed to envelop the entire place. Great, just what I needed, a spooky setting, I muttered to myself as I grabbed my bag from the back seat. The lobby was dimly lit, and the air inside felt stale, like it hadn't been disturbed in years. The receptionist, a middle-aged man with a receding hairline and a plastic smile greeted me with an overly enthusiastic tone that sent a shiver down my spine. "Hello there. Welcome to the Riverside Inn. I'm James, your host for the evening." I forced a polite smile and handed over my ID and credit card, all the while trying to shake off the feeling that something was off about James. He's just a bit overly friendly, right? No need to jump to conclusions, I thought to myself, attempting to ignore the sinking unease. James handed me a room key with an ornate keychain that looked out of place in the modern world. As he did, his gaze lingered on me for a moment longer than was comfortable. Maybe he's just trying to be welcoming, I tried to reassure myself, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. As I made my way to my room, I couldn't help but notice that the hallway was unnaturally quiet. The sound of my footsteps echoed ominously, and the flickering overhead lights seemed to cast eerie shadows that danced along the walls. Okay, this place is seriously giving me the creeps. It's just a hotel, though, right? My room, when I finally reached it, was far from inviting. The wallpaper was peeling, the furniture was worn, and the air was thick with the scent of mildew. "It's just one night," I sighed, trying to convince myself that it wasn't so bad. I can survive this. But as the hours wore on, the strangeness of the Riverside Inn became impossible to ignore. I kept hearing muffled footsteps outside my door, and whenever I peeked through the peephole, I couldn't see anyone. Is someone messing with me? Or is this place haunted? My mind was a whirlwind of possibilities. As I lay in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Maybe it's just my imagination, I mumbled to myself, trying to drown out the unease. I'm just being paranoid. But then a soft tapping sound echoed through the room. It was subtle at first, like the patter of rain on a window pane. What's that? Is it coming from inside the room? I strained my ears, my heart pounding in my chest. The tapping grew louder, more insistent, and it seemed to be coming from the closet. This can't be real, right? There's nothing in the closet. My thoughts raced, and I slowly got out of bed, my steps cautious. As I approached the closet, the tapping grew louder, and I could feel the floor vibrating with each rhythmic thud. My hand trembled as I reached for the closet door handle. I must be dreaming. This can't be happening. But when I swung open the door, what I saw froze me in my tracks. Inside the closet, there was a small hidden compartment, and inside that compartment, I found a video camera. What is this? Is someone recording me? This is insane. Fear gnawed at my gut as I realized that someone had been spying on me. My thoughts raced, my heart pounded, and I couldn't help but feel violated. Who could have done this? Is it James, that creepy receptionist? I decided to confront James and headed down to the lobby. But as I approached the front desk, I saw him through the glass door leading to the back office. He was huddled over a table, and his hands were covered in something dark and sticky. What on earth is he doing? This doesn't look right. With a sinking feeling in my stomach, I watched as James turned toward the door, and our eyes locked. There was a manic glint in his eyes, and a chilling smile slowly spread across his face. Is that blood on his hands? What the hell is going on here? Before I could react, James rushed toward the door, his movements unnaturally fast and predatory. Panic surged through me, and I turned and bolted for the front entrance, desperate to get out of the Riverside Inn. I need to get as far away from this place as possible. As I burst out into the rain-soaked night, my heart raced, and my thoughts were a whirlwind of confusion and terror. What was James doing? Was he the one who put that camera in my room? This is a nightmare. But just when I thought I had escaped the horrors of the Riverside Inn, an unexpected twist hit me like a freight train. I reached my car, fumbling for my keys, and jumped inside, slamming the door shut. I started the engine, ready to speed away from that nightmarish place. But as I glanced in the rearview mirror, my blood ran cold. James was standing in the parking lot, his eyes locked onto mine. He was smiling that same chilling smile, and he raised a hand to his lips and blew me a mocking kiss. This can't be real. He can't be here. I need to get away. I floored the gas pedal, speeding away from the Riverside Inn, the image of James haunting my thoughts. I can't ever come back here. This place is a nightmare. So, my friend, the next time you check into a hotel and the receptionist gives you the creeps, trust your instincts and get out of there. You never know what kind of horrors may be lurking behind closed doors, and some mysteries are better left unsolved. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and always be cautious of those who may be watching.